All right, so we found a bucket of foam golf balls here. Luke, why do we have foam golf balls when I can just hit these real ones?
Because we're trying to learn a golf swing and not hit a great shot. That's our goal.
1, 2, 3. Nah, that wasn't as good.
That was certifiably terrible.
This is gonna be an awesome video. Luke is gonna dive into some research and some concepts and strategies on learning how to change your technique and why you'd wanna do that. I think they're awesome. Let's get into it. All right, Luke, so our idea here is how do we change a golf swing? And it's something that I think is super hard, right? People, I think, underestimate how difficult it is to change a golf swing.
Right.
But you're this mad scientist here in Minnesota where it's, you know, winter all year long. So you've had to figure out some interesting ideas on how to change golf swings.
Yeah, I'm unique because we have a really long off season.
Yeah.
So 5 months, I get to grind on golf swings. And I'd say there's kind of 2 ways to improve your golf swing, like broadly. One is fix the easy stuff. So if you have somebody coming in with a slice or hook, like that honestly should only take 1 lesson. I've got a 5-year streak with nobody leaving with a slice.
Okay.
It's easy stuff when you're just changing path and face.
Okay.
We can talk about some of that. The hard stuff is when you're trying to totally change a lot of things like early extension, maybe your steep, where we have a lot of variables moving around and we're trying to take it from like one phase that's kind of dysfunctional to another phase that's much more accurate. We're trying to improve face control long-term, right? So if you're one of those golfers where your good shots are straight, but you hit a lot of inconsistent shots, you need a big face change. Let's say you're one of those golfers where you're like standing up, right? And the handle's getting high and it's a lot of face rotation. It's very hard to time and you're not gonna play very consistent golf. Those are the people that need to learn how to rebuild a swing. Then we get rid of the real ball. We work on a foam ball to make that change.
Through that. So let's hit a shot and then like maybe figure something out to work on.
Cool.
Hey, hit it solid. Off the cart paths.
Cordy, I don't know if we need to remodel it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, man.
Thanks, that's good, I like that.
I like it. Awesome. I love your golf swing. There's not that much I would change. I mean, we kind of dive into setup looks great. You take it away. Club head might be a slightly inside right there. At the top, laid off, but you know, a lot of good players are a little laid off. We could probably try to get you a little bit shallower and get the club a little bit more here. And a lot of people right now, it's very popular these days to work on shallowing the swing and rotation, and I get so many lessons working on that stuff because it's very hard to fix, and people don't have a good process for it.
Should we say like I did want to shallow, right? I am a little bit steep. That's been my pattern since I was a kid, right? I mean, typically if we're standing here and you told me this, I would just start to like, all right, so I got to feel like I'm gonna do some of this, or I got to go more like this, and you just start trying to different feels, right?
Right, and you're already educated, you already know some of those feels, but the average person, you'll tell them to get shallow, and a lot of times what'll happen is they won't move it at all, doesn't shallow. Or they actually just get inside out and their path is going to first base because they think shallowing means coming in here, right? And so then they're hitting big hooks or chunks. So it's really hard to actually teach somebody how to shallow the club. And then we also have the problem of, as we shallow the club, we're gonna probably hit behind it a lot. And we also need to make sure that we rotate to match that up so that the club starts moving around our body. Because when the club dumps here, now we gotta turn so that we can square it and go around. Does that make sense?
A lot of things going on.
It's a lot of things. This is where I'd call it like it's a big phase change to learn how to do that. And so it's a really common problem. And a lot of people, if I say, all right, Cordy, give it a try to hit one and shallow it, let's try it. Can you do it on one swing? It's really hard with a real ball.
Absolutely. Because I'm trying to make solid contact with it. Like I'm addicted to this. I want to see that look good.
So I do a ton of online, and when I started doing online, I will be honest, like I think I was teaching differently. I was teaching how I would do in person. And now how I teach online is completely different, and it's actually affected how I teach in person as well. And so I give people a roadmap, and this is a guy, Seth, who we made this change, and I'm not kidding you, this took 16 days.
That's crazy.
So obviously not everybody's as talented as him, and he was probably hitting balls something like 4 or 5 hours a week. But I didn't give him any real balls for the first 10 to 12 days. And then we got a couple real ones going at the end. In the first 4 or 5 days, we didn't hit any balls at all. And the reason is I don't really want you to work on trying to hit any good shots. I want you to learn the pattern. I almost look at it as like martial arts. Like before you add speed to a punch, you better first learn how to have some movement coordination.
Okay.
Like, let's say you're the average person that's early extending, maybe really steep as a result, trying to get out of the way and early extend, right? So really common problem. So I'm gonna have you feel the opposite, but we're gonna take away the backswing, because downswing is the important part, right?
Okay.
The backswing kind of sets the table, but if your downswing is garbage, you're never gonna play good golf.
Okay.
So let's take care of the downswing first. So I'm gonna have you out here. We're gonna do all the things we need to shallow the golf club. We're gonna feel some what we call ulnar deviation, which is wide angles.
Okay.
We're gonna feel this right arm kind of extend a little bit. We're gonna feel like there's a big wedge between our left arm and our chest, and that should help us get our trail arm to externally rotate a little bit and go this way. And then we're gonna match that up by getting our chest down and by rotating. So we're gonna do all this. So I'm gonna give you about 17 swing thoughts, but one of them is not hit a good shot. So we're gonna do it without a golf ball. We're gonna take it up here, do a freezer like this. I'm gonna have you feel like you go pressure into the ground right here to start your downswing. At the same time, you're gonna feel the club down and wide. And you're gonna rotate, just like that. Okay, so I'm gonna coach you through that.
So we're starting no ball, there's no ball. We're just going to the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's freeze up there and kind of get familiar with the position. Good. Okay. So I'm gonna bake you into a little bit more hip turn.
Oh.
I'm gonna get you pushed away. Feel that stretch?
Yes.
So now we have a chance where we have like a beach ball could sit up here.
Okay.
And you can keep this trail arm feeling this way in the downswing, which is literally like casting, right?
Yep. Yep.
And I'm gonna solve your casting by casting.
Okay.
So we're gonna feel this way on the way down with the arms. We're gonna feel like the wrist goes this way. So you're thinking about ulnar, thinking about width and space.
Yep.
And then while we're doing that with the arms, we're also gonna think about getting into the ground and rotating. All of these things at once, okay? Make sense?
It does. It's a lot of things. My brain is kind of spinning right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about, to be honest.
Right.
So we got this, and then we're going like this.
You got it. You got it.
Oh boy.
Let's do one more and freeze it up there. And this is where, we get into the coaching. You say, well, can we get a little more space? Can we get a little more turn? Can we make this easier by exaggerating the heck out of it? And now I really want you to feel like as you start down, like let's go eat the ball. Get the chest down and rotate. There you go. Awesome.
That's great.
So the weird thing about this casting sensation is like, you feel like you're doing this.
Yeah.
As soon as you go down with the chest and rotate, you literally can't have that shaft lean. So all these people that like do this, they think that is because their hands are flipping. Their hands are flipping because their body mechanics are terrible.
Huh.
If you learn how to shallow it, cover it, rotate, you can't have bad shaft lean.
Okay.
So we're gonna train the body to do the right stuff with a really shallow move.
Here we go. So we're gonna go back, turn there, down.
And there's always a debate in golf, like should you learn slow motion or should you learn what we call segmentation? I do way more segmentation. The reason is if you try to do this in slow motion and feel it, as soon as you go to full speed, we have these motion dependent torques that make everything different anyway. So we're gonna have arms going up and everything's gonna flip. I'd rather have you go full speed and like manage the move with a freezer.
Let's define freezer. You're just talking about we go to the
freezer, stop, exactly. And that's the biggest innovation in teaching. And I would give Genghis credit. Obviously, Butch used to work with Tiger on freezers. It's not a new idea, but it's getting way more popular.
Okay.
Right. So here's you feeling the move. So you're feeling wide and shallow. We talked about getting like the feel of like putting a beach ball up here.
Yeah.
Right? So you got a lot of space, and then you're kind of cueing the move. Look at that.
Oh, we like that.
So you're cueing it, learning it, and it is way lower than it was.
Yeah.
And now, because you're so low and you're rotating, look at how your shaft lean's amazing.
Right.
Now, what do you see with the club face?
It's wide open.
Right. So this is the biggest point of like, if you were trying to hit a real ball, your brain's like, that's not gonna work.
Well, I'd shank it.
You might shank it.
Yeah.
You might be 80 yards right.
Yeah.
But that's gonna keep your brain from actually doing it.
Right.
So now, if we're gonna go work on this, I'd rather have you be like, all right, let's solve this. We don't even need to hit balls or real balls. Let's try to feel some flexion to match up the face.
Okay.
So now we're gonna get more shut because I don't need you to hit 100 yards right away.
Yep.
But the move looks great, it's just not matched. So let's freeze it up there one more time. And we'll talk about, all right, we're gonna try to feel on this one just a little bit more flexion as we start down, just in case you wanna match up that face and not be a mile right. So now you're feeling shut, and now you can rotate and that thing won't be quite as far to the right. Make sense?
So let's see, we're gonna go back. You keep pushing me, you keep pulling me farther here.
Yep.
That's hard.
The more space, the better for shallowing.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
More turn.
Define space.
It's like you want space between the left arm and the shoulder. So if you're up here, the more this angle is, the the more
if I go like this.
Yeah, then it's a lot harder to usually, most people that are really, really stuck here, their elbow gets this way.
Right.
They can't go external, which means in front.
Got
right?
it. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go back. We're going to go that way.
Yep.
And we're going to go down, but now we're going to rotate this too, like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Awesome. Now, how long do you think this would take for you to make the practice swing like we're doing with the freezer look really good on video?
I say within like 30 minutes, like less than 30 minutes.
30 minutes for you, you could make it look good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How long would it take for you to use the swing on the golf course?
Currently it feels like 3 months, but
Yeah.
I bet we could shorten that. But...
Yeah. So what we got to do is just take it to step one and make the swing look awesome with a freezer.
Okay.
Now we're going to add a slow backswing and do the same thing.
Okay.
So the slow backswing is going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, go. Because I don't want you to have a bifurcated process, meaning like you could be awesome at freezers, but you can't take it to the golf course.
Okay.
So people that do that and do freezers all the time,
right,
they have 2 different golf swings completely.
Yep. And I think that's a good point before anyone shuts us off and comments like, this is never going to work when you go to play golf. What you're saying is, yes, that's correct.
It's true.
Because we got to go through all these other steps to get there. It's not like 30 minutes from now, I should go play 18 holes.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So let's try this. And the secret sauce here is we're going to go slow backswing.
Okay.
3-second backswing. I want you to go 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay. So
and feel the exact same stuff.
Go.
Good. And of course that felt like 3, but it was actually 1.
Okay.
So let's have you count a little slower.
Okay.
And I'll record it.
God, there's a lot to think about.
I know.
Holy cow. All right. So here we go. 1, 2, go.
Good. And then on the downswing, that's when you can really fire, right? But you gotta have a space and time. So kind of rating the 3-second backswing here, it took right around 2, maybe 3. And is it shallow?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Are you covered?
Yeah.
It's awesome. So you can make that look good. And usually what I'll have people do is I'll have them do alternating between a freezer and a slow backswing for quite a while.
Got it.
Because the freezer allows you to just get in and learn the move.
Yep.
The slow backswing is your transition to actually take it to a ball eventually.
So there's some of this training that happens with a coach, some without a coach.
Right.
You're getting hands-on as well. When is that happening for you? Is that like an initial stage that's hands-on, like we are putting you in a position, we're gonna I want you to feel this so you can get into that?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to start out in person, but you could do it online too, and you could have a coach tell you, hey, go do this. And everybody's gonna be a little different.
Yeah.
This model is super useful for anybody and any problem, but there's always like nuances where coaching helps a lot.
Yep.
You know, because some people may not need to shut the face.
Right.
Some people may really have trouble getting turns, so they might need to flare, a lot of individual tendencies, but the template's really helpful for any issue.
Okay, so step 1, no ball freezers. Step 2, slow back swing, swing, and rotate those then as well.
Yeah, and then you're just gonna learn to alternate the pattern. And it would be cool if people could stick to maybe a more advanced plan, but people can really stick to freezer, slow backswing, alternating. That's why it's so powerful.
Okay.
Because somebody will do that, and then they're gonna get really good at both of them eventually.
Got it.
So the next step, you've proven that you can make the swing look really good without a ball.
Yep.
You can do it in downswing. You can put a 3-second backswing on and look good. We're ready for a foam ball. Okay.
Here we go.
Now the big goal on the foam ball is like hit a terrible shot.
Okay.
Like, I don't care if you miss.
Yeah.
But the swing has to look awesome.
Okay.
Because we don't want to struggle with the swing change very long. Like we're done with this thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it look great. Okay. So go ahead and shank it.
All right, so we're gonna go back. Feel.
Nice. Take a look, man. Like that looks really good, doesn't it? Like you're starting to feel the move and cue it a little bit. You're starting with the ground. Look at how the head and chest are lowering.
Yeah.
These are all really good components of ground force. When you see the lowering and the shallowing and the rotation, you're gonna get low face rotation at impact.
Huh. I've never rotated my like chest like that, I don't think.
Yeah.
That's totally new for me.
Yeah, and you can't do it if you're steep because you're gonna jam into the ground when you rotate harder. So great matchups there.
Huh.
Cool.
Okay, so that was freezer with foam ball.
Yep.
Now
we're gonna do 3-second backswing.
3-second backswing.
Go ahead and count out loud.
Okay, here we go.
Cheat.
1, 2, 3. That wasn't as good.
Yeah, and that was, I always encourage people to hit like terrible shots. That was certifiably terrible.
Okay.
That is the goal.
Go ahead.
The worse you can hit it, the better we're gonna do with our swing changes here, right? So take a look. That was, let's see if it's as good. it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, look, that's totally different delivery there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so now we're at the stage where you're actually going to start solving a little bit of like the biases that make you play good.
Okay.
What I'd say is you're going to have biases in 3 different areas. One would be face control. One would be your path. One would be your impact location.
Okay.
So I want you to hit a lot of terrible shots. Like you should hit the ball all over this Eiffel Tower.
Okay.
But you can't do the same thing every time. So if your face is open and the ball is going right, we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
If it's way closed, we're going to fix it. If you're chunking it, we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
If you're shanking it, we're going to fix it.
Okay.
But I don't care if it's all of them, as long as it's not the same one every time.
Got it. Interesting. So you don't want to see the same mistake twice because you want me to try to problem solve and figure out how to not. Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Like I want to go back and do freezers with no ball to try to feel closing the club. Is that what you do then?
Yeah. So we're going to keep alternating the pattern for quite a while. I like to get people to look 95% awesome and like perfect.
Okay.
Tommy Fleetwood, it's looking awesome before we go to the next stage.
Okay.
And so I don't really care if the contact's amazing yet.
Yeah.
But before we go to real balls, I want your contact on a foam ball to be pretty sweet.
Okay. Good. I want to do this again. Now I'm hooked. I felt like I didn't do it well that last time, so I want to go backwards before we go forwards. And then.
So we're gonna do a freezer.
So go back to freezer, right? Because my club face was wide open.
And you can do this one on a ball if you want to. We can do it with a freezer up there, you know?
Freezer in the ball. All right, so here we go. So we're gonna go back. Feel that wide.
Feel like good space.
I need to feel that.
You got it.
That.
You got it.
Okay, so.
Awesome. Cool.
I tossed it.
So we had a different miss, right? It was a bad miss, but it was a different miss.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking for. Don't do the same bad thing every time.
Okay.
And then if we take a look at the pattern here, like you're thinking a lot, which is great. You're supposed to be thinking about a million things. Pretty darn good. I think you got the face closed better. Maybe topped it, but again, that's the goal. Now, if you're hitting a bunch of solid shots, again, 90, 95%, pretty solid, not a whole lot of bias going on. Now you're ready for a real ball.
Okay.
And we're going to use the exact same drills. We're going to go freezer and slow backswing. Yeah.
Okay.
So often what people will end up seeing is their what feels like their slow backswing actually is pretty good tempo. And it is a 1 second backswing.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty easy to add a little more speed on a real ball.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, it's been 20 minutes. Based on what you said, that sounds like enough time for me to transition to a real golf ball.
It doesn't take everybody 20 minutes to make the giant swing change. This is not normal.
Oh, this is going to be great. This.
Cool.
So right.
Yeah.
Very right, but I hit it.
Yeah. So we're going to real ball, still cueing it a little bit, which is great, doing a freezer. And looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's very different than my swing that I had 20 minutes ago.
Right. So the impact looks tidy. We're gonna have very low face rotation from there.
Okay.
Obviously you chunked it and towed it, but those are things we started solving.
Okay.
But I think we like the way it looks, right?
Can you explain to folks, you've said it a couple times now, but less rotation when you shallow like this at impact. Can you explain why that is a good thing or why that happens?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where like tour pros are trying to find the last bit of advantage, and that face control element is huge. So you see guys like Phil Mickelson, like it looks a little more like this. Could you win a lot of majors that way? You could, but it's a little harder to time. The whole idea is that if your club is from here, if you're inside out, but you're a little bit steep maybe, you're gonna feel some rising up or early extension. You might not feel it, but you're doing it. Left arm catapults off the chest. We get this high handle, and we get the club face flipping harder. So this is Phil Mickelson. Obviously, as a pro, you can get it done, but it's not maybe as repeatable as getting the club down in here, wide with the arms, club is shallow. Now I have all the incentive to rotate through. If I'm here, my club's gonna hammer the ground, so I get up and out of the way. If the club is here and I rotate, it's a lot better. A really cool thing to do is if you swing a club that's about 20 inches long, will you early extend? There's no incentive to. The club is so short, it's easy to stay down. The reason people early extend, it's not physical limitations 98% of the time. It's a shitty plane. They're too steep. They tend to really get here. They don't know how to shallow and get wide and rotate around. So let's try a 3 second backswing.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Cool.
Chunky.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
Made contact.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah. So you could say, let's say you chunked a bunch in a row, then you'd say, well, how do I fix a chunk? You could be a little taller if you want to. We don't all have to be Joaquin Neiman here, right? Or you could just say, well, I really do want to be Joaquin Neiman and I'll shallow it a little more. Either way.
Okay. Got it. The next question that anyone's going to have is, I have a golf tournament, a week and a half from now.
Right.
Kind of in that position where I can strike it okay with the ball. We're kind of getting there. How do I take this new swing to that? What's the next step?
So first, I'm going to take one little step back, and I'll say I usually use a dream house analogy. The dream house analogy is we're going to build your new golf swing, which is like your dream house, and that's going to be the swing you want to retire with and win every club championship with, okay? But we're not going to use that. We're not going to put the roof on that thing until that thing's awesome.
Okay.
So you don't have to struggle and play with your swing change. You can go play with your crummy little house, your old golf swing, and you're going to build this new house while you play with your old house.
Got it.
So you can go have fun.
Okay.
And maybe a little bit of it will filter in, but you literally have a bifurcated pattern here.
Huh.
You have your new swing you're building, you have your old swing you can play with, you can have fun, and it'll play. Now, if you're one of those guys where you're like, I just don't care how long this takes, I want to go as fast as I can, and I don't care how bad I play, it's like a root canal, go ahead, try it on the golf course. You might shoot 140, that's fine, but you will probably learn faster if you can actually stomach the change.
Got it.
Not many people are built that way. I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay, so we've got our two swings. How do I merge those?
Yeah. So once you're hitting it pretty solid with block practice, because this is all about being able to get comfortable with your new swing, and you need to make it easy enough at first. So your 7 irons are starting to look pretty good on video, and you're making good contact. Now we start switching clubs, and you can start taking it to different settings, go to the driving range, maybe even play with it by yourself. Go take a cart and hit a lot of shots on the course. We're transferring up what I call the transfer ladder. Then you go play with your buddies. Then you start keeping score with your buddies. Then you try to take money off your buddies. Then you go play in a tournament. You go play in a club championship, state am, state open, US Open.
Got it.
How's that?
That's a good ladder. Yeah. Can we do that? Like, is that next?
Well, that's your goal.
By the end of the summer, that's kind of where we're going to get. I like that. Okay. The reality is, like, me changing my golf swing is so hard that I can't even make a normal golf swing in block practice mode. You got to break it all the way back to freezers and slow-mo, right?
Yeah.
The challenge point is just way too high. That's why you can't randomize and make it difficult, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's fun to be able to break this down and then kind of look at, like, there's a whole ladder, right?
There's a whole ladder. And it takes a while. And like, a lot of, I think your viewers are pretty educated.
Yeah.
Like, they already know this is hard.
Yeah.
It does take a long time, but if you have a process, it's totally manageable and doable. And you can really significantly improve your swing. But I will say, like, there's always this long-term trend, like the swing you had as a kid still wants to rear its head, especially like I used to hit hooks when I was a junior. College, I'd hit draws. I practice fades, and I go play a state open and I draw it again. So things kind of evolved back to where they were. And so, like, let's say I've got somebody that's slicing it, we might practice at a path of 8 degrees inside out, and I'll go expect them to play at +2, right? So we got to work into our long-term trend to make that work.
Got it. Luke, this is awesome. Really unique info. I mean, when did you ever think that you need to go back to a foam ball again, right? Thanks for sharing.
Awesome, Courtney.
This is great.
Cool.